Happy lunchtime on a Premier League weekend, everybody. Forever United TV here with your Manchester United updates. A little bit of an extra show before we head into all of the football this afternoon. Bournemouth doing a job on Newcastle right now. We're over on Football Talk straight after this, covering the Liverpool game and every other Premier League game, Sports Saturday mode. That's all. Make sure you join us for that. Link is in the live chat right now. Right now on FUTV, we're talking about the Tyrell Malacia situation and him officially being told that he can leave the football club. What does that then mean for Manchester United? This morning, we talked about Harry Mas, and I was alluding to the fact that there could be a deal in the offing for Tyrell Malacia this month, and United actively don't have anyone else in. Why would you be getting rid of one of your only left-footed defenders for that side who can bomb up and down that side if you've got no one else to replace him with? That's what we're getting into. There is a story about United going back in for Alvaro Fernandez and triggering that release clause. A report coming from Portugal, that is. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to update you on all the details around Malacia as well, so you know completely up to date on where that story has come from today. Update on Marcus Rashford is in as well. Again, a little one, just bit by bit. As the football is being played, it usually dies off a little bit with news, but with Man United right now, I'm running out of time. It just seems to be ever rolling out at the moment, and everything that's going on is, I think it's a needs-must situation like we spoke about before. United need to get a move on, especially if they want replacements in. That's where we're at right now with it, and it does look like big decisions have been made. End of the line for certain Manchester United players. It looks like Ruben Amorim has made it clear that these players that aren't going to be producing anything, or not going to be featuring, in fact, for his team going forward, are now on the list, and United are doing everything they can to move them on. What happened to Tyrell Malacia? I think that's where we've got to start. What has gone on with this guy? He literally had a nightmare scenario that wasn't his fault. Went under the knife for an operation that was ballsed up and set him back double time. You'd be chomping at the bit, surely, wouldn't you? Like, get back in, wanting to play football, want to get back out on the pitch, play regular. After being out for 18 months near enough, I'd just be doing anything I possibly could to get out there. He looks like a bundle of energy. When he was first playing for Ten Hag, he looked like he was one of them players that could run forever. And now all of a sudden, he's one of these players that really either doesn't have the quality or is really not looking to put the right amount of effort in for Ruben Amorim on the training ground. That's how I could see it, and that's how it has to look. Because we know that Ruben gives everybody a chance. He knows that we're lacking on that left-hand side. So I sort of tend to lean towards there has been an issue behind the scenes with Tyrell Malacia. But in terms of the story itself and where it's actually come from, I'm going to get into that next and tell you exactly whereabouts it has actually come from. It's come from a source. Nick Salt has been talking about this as well in terms of where Malacia's situation is. The MEN have been talking about it, but numerous reports now. It's come from what looks like a Dutch journalist called Joost Blauwhof. I hope I've got that right. Blauwhof. I think that's how you pronounce the name anyway. The report came out earlier. Manchester United have informed Tyrell Malacia on Friday evening that the club have said that he could leave. Clubs from almost all top European leagues have inquired about his availability. Now, Tyrell Malacia is in the category of Alejandro Garnacho when it comes to easy transfers. Now, obviously, we're haggling over a price for Garnacho. Just a tiny little update on that as well to come in. I'll bring that up in a moment, but we're haggling over a price at the moment, but the fact that he's on low wages, he's cost nothing for Manchester United to come in, really. And Tyrell Malacia being the same, 14 million, I think it was. We're not losing much. He's got years on his side. He's appealing to other football clubs because of his age. He does fit in a traditional back four, and they can get him for a reasonable price. I think it moves into that territory of let's just try and get a deal done here. Malacia looks like an easy buy. And I think he is an easy buy for any football club. Look, he will work somewhere, Malacia. He's a good all-around professional footballer. He's got qualities. He's lacking in a lot of areas. We know this. And I just think Manchester United, again, too big for him. It does now look like, literally, from what Ten Hag has brought into this football club, there is hardly anyone left. It's embarrassing. In terms of transfers and what he has done, and what he actually had at his disposal. Like, honestly, you look at Ten Hag players right now. This is the point I want to make about this. And this is how bad and poor his recruitment or eye for talent was. And what was going on at Manchester United before Ineos stepped in. So you look right now, from that first window, you've got Lisandro Martinez, I think is the only one. But we've even heard that he's not safe at Manchester United. By the way, happy birthday, Lisandro. But him aside, let's look through it. The first transfer window, what have you got? Casemiro looking to go. Eriksen's gone at the end of this season. Antony, need I say any more on that one? So you've got them there. You've got Tyrell Malacia. So there's your 5 signings, your key signings that he made in his first transfer window. All that's going to be left, literally 2.5 years on, is Lisandro Martinez. Wow. Add up what we spent on the rest of them transfers. Just add that up. Was that worth 2.5 years? Good God. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. His next transfer window, obviously, was Demicksville. Well, Onana, I think, will be replaced eventually. I don't think he's good enough, even though he had an alright game the other night. You're looking at Mason Mount, say no more. Rasmus Højlund, again, say no more. Coming to the second season, he's not really improved that much. And then you look at the summer, where it does look like he was forced into certain transfers. Yes, some of his players have survived, but everything that he has got right now has come, or anything positive that he's got, apart from Lisandro Martinez, has come either with Ineos in charge or what was already there in his team. Oh my God, like how far have we been set back? Malacia probably was the easiest transfer to get out of the door because he was probably the cheapest signing that we've made under Erik Ten Hag before Ineos came in. Cheap fullback, and we have heard reports that Tyrell Malacia is wanted by Juventus. I think that was one name that's been going around. We've talked quite a bit about him actually being a target for Juventus by the end of the window. Loan with obligation is what we're hearing on that one with Tyrell Malacia to Juventus. And it is going to be one of them. Again, another one from the scrapbook of never going to make it in the United shirt players. The recruitment, again, what is going on at Manchester United? It's the question that just needs to be asked and continuously asked. And people are scratching their head as to what is actually going on at this football club and what has been done. Honestly, I don't even want to get into it in terms of like where the decisions have been made. Everything that was in place and everybody that was bought before Ineos came in, 95% of that is gone. From top to bottom of this football club. From the staff, the coaches, the directors, the players. By the end of this season, before we start next season, literally everything that was there before with Ineos, before Ineos came in, has gone. I mean, Lisandro's probably going to hang on. That's it. Unbelievable. Really is absolutely crazy as to the shake-up at Manchester United and what's going on. But in this, after all of this, and all of the mismanagement, bad recruitment, everything else that's going on at Manchester United, we're hearing from a Portugal side of things regarding Alvaro Fernandez again, that we could be going back in and United are preparing to hit the release clause. Now, this has only come about, obviously, because we were talking this morning, funnily enough, and now this story's come from Portugal. In the last couple of hours, we were talking this morning. Obviously, Nuno Mendes now looks like he's committing to PSG. It looks like he's signing a new contract there. That was broke earlier on this morning. And then United, really, right now, if we're going to let Malacia go, I can only see either Havertz being promoted, like we spoke about this morning, or Manchester United going in for what is their cheapest option right now, which, as we all know, is Alvaro Fernandez. And Ojogo, the publication over in Portugal, have said Manchester United are weighing up whether to activate the buyback clause of Alvaro Fernandez from Benfica. So that would have been a report from it's a report from now, but I'm guessing they got wind of this a while back. But today with Nuno not leaving PSG, Malacia leaving Manchester United, when I say we're short, we're short. We really are. In terms of left footers, you're then relying on two right-footed players in Dalot and Mazraoui, and Luke Shaw coming back and praying that he stays fit. Mazraoui, as we've said, is already struggling in that position. Either side, I think he's better in a back three, to be honest. And Dalot, I think, needs to be on the right-hand side, personally, in the end. We definitely need a left-footed bleeding fullback. Seriously, just at this point, when you look at all of the options that you've got, I've just watched bits of Bournemouth against Newcastle now, and Kirkes is absolutely tearing it apart again. Can we afford to hang on for him? Do we trigger up the release clause of Alvaro Fernandez, get him back in? I think right now we're looking at these options. I think we're looking, and the best bet, or the safest bet I can see here happening, is that Harry Mas gets promoted back into the Manchester United first team squad. I can only see it going that way, because if we haven't got the money, like we said, if Malacia is going and we're not getting a fee for him, then really, you've got to look at this and say someone has to be coming in this window. Otherwise, there's only one other option, which is Harry Mas. It's crazy. Honestly, I'd be amazed if Malacia goes and Manchester United brought nobody in, or at least promoted Harry Mas. I'd be absolutely amazed. I don't see it happening at all. I'm going to get into the chat on this now and see where you're all at with the situation and what's actually going on. Please give the video a like. Make sure that you are subscribed so you can get involved in the live chat. I want your comments in on this. If you're not subscribed, please do, because that way you can get involved in the debate. There is one going on right now. We've got quite a lot actually in the room. Thank you for joining us on this extra show. I wasn't going to do a show this lunchtime. We are moving across from here into the watch along for the Brentford and Liverpool game. So we're going to be doing that, but we're going to be carrying on in that as a Sports Saturday, talking about all the football stuff as well. So it's a general sort of chat and watching the game at the same time and going over everything. And we're probably talking that show as well on some stuff like this. But right now, as a United fan, get into the chat and let me know. Let me know where you're at regarding who you would go for right now. I want to know. Is it going to be Harry Mas? Is it going to be Alvaro Fernandez, Kirkes? Which way should United go right now? Do we have to act in January? Would you be happy to see Malacia leave in January? That is the poll as well. 84% of you are really not bothered and have said yes. That's where we're at right now as a fan base. It's like just trusting the manager. If he's not willing to play, then he needs to go. It's as simple as that. Get him gone and let's move on with things. I think Harry Mas is definitely capable of performing better than both Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia right now. Shaw, no disrespect, because he's injured all the time. Malacia, just really, I don't know what's happened. Like I said at the top of the show, I'm absolutely blown away the fact that you've got a player there that hasn't put in or got the bit between his teeth and just gone for it. Like, welcome back to football. No, crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't understand it. Like, honestly, you as a professional footballer, you're doing everything right now, aren't you? Hi Adam, an ideal world, Malacia would stay, but he has fallen big time. I believe he has been hanging with Rashford too often. Remember the subs warming up in the recent game. Focus is not there. No, it's not. It really isn't. It isn't, is it? Hi Adam, don't forget Eric Ten Hag gave us an Anna also. Enough said. I think that was familiar one in the chat. But yeah, you get it. Ten Hag's choices have set United back 5 years, both in terms of squad quality and overall competency. Yes, Mohammed, definitely agree with that one. Mason Mount needs to give up the 7 shirts and F right off, says Nomad. People have had enough, like I said. And I think Ruben Amorim has as well. Looking at this, away you go. There's the door. See you later, Tyrell. If you're not willing, see you. We'll have someone else in. I do hope, personally for me, I hope it's a Mas, and then we assess the situation again at the end of the season. Right now, we're not expecting. If we can get Alvaro right now, would you take him? That's the point. Would you go for him in January, or would you wait for a better option in the summer? Kirkes is going to cost around about 30 million, 35 million. That's the rumour going around, and that's the price that's on his head. So, really, 16.7 million. We've talked about this before. There is a clause within a clause. Manchester United have a buyback clause and a sell-on clause. A 50% sell-on clause. So, anything that Benfica sell Alvaro Fernandez for, Manchester United get half of within the first 2 years of his contract at Benfica. If it goes past 2 years, United cannot get that sell-on clause. So, and that buyback clause is gone as well also. So it's within the first 2 years. So if Benfica sell Alvaro Fernandez back to Manchester United under the release clause, under the buyback clause of 16.7, you then half that amount, because United would be basically paying themselves out of that 16.7 million, half of that, because they have a sell-on clause. This has been put in by other clubs before, and these type of release and sell-on clauses have been put into contracts to be very, very clever and crafty. And Madrid have done this, a few other clubs have done this. United were very, very smart in dealing with Alvaro. So where it looks like we have sold him for 6 million, which is what it was, we have then bought him back for 16.7. It's not. All this has turned out to be is probably, an 8 million signing for Manchester United after we have actually sold him in the first place. Count it all up. 8 million, sold him for 6. He's gone on an expensive loan for 12 to 18 months, and United have got him back in their squad. That's what it is, isn't it? That's all it is. That's how you have to look at it when you do all of the maths. But I could not believe it when I read that story. We have talked about this on another show, I know, before, but if you haven't heard of that, then United will not be paying the 16.7 million for Alvaro Fernandez. The sell-on clause also kicks in, even if it's United buying him back. And this is why Benfica are doing everything in their power to not sell Alvaro Fernandez to Manchester United within the first 2 years. They can sell him, and I think the clause and the release clause in his contract right now is about 45 million to every other club apart from Manchester United. Obviously, with us selling them Alvaro, we have the options, we have the buyback, we have the sell-on and everything like that. So we're in a better position than most teams are right now. But do we look at the money and the finances and the ease of it, or do we look at the player? What suits best? That's why I said, should we bring a mass in, leave Alvaro, judge what we can do in the summer, then buy Alvaro, because we've still got plenty of time to use what I've just described there as a absolute belter of a deal in terms of buyback. And assess everything else, because if it comes to it in the summer, United have not got a lot of money and you're looking to improve certain positions. Say, for instance, we definitely need a left wing back. We all know that. Harry Mas has not done too bad. Diego Leon is coming in. You're deciding whether to go for a Kirkez or someone more expensive. Alvaro Fernandez is there for nearly 8 million. You would just buy him, wouldn't you, if it meant that gave you the rest of your funds and money to go out and get a striker, a Gyökeres, or in fact get a deal for Edison in midfield. That's how United are probably looking at the situation right now. Do we just hold off and see what happens? Do we give Harry and Mas a 6-month trial in the first team? That's what I think has to be thought of. Otherwise, there's no other player out there that I think United can afford except Alvaro Fernandez. And that's the situation and why I've done a show on it today, because it does actually... the circumstances does actually push Manchester United into moving for Alvaro in a way, because he would be a first-team player. You've then got Harry and Mas, you've then got Diego Leon at the start of next season. Do United then, in fact, need to even go and spend any money on a left wing back in the summer when you've got 3 there? 2 definitely, because you've just bought 2 in. Harry and Mas may go out on loan again somewhere else and fetch United a fair price. But as of now, the January transfer window, there is a move that can be made. And it's a surprising move that I don't think anybody would have been expecting. Into the chat we go again. Let's see what you're all saying about that situation. Thinning the team down and not bringing anyone in January surely can't be good for us. I don't know. It may invite the youth team to come forward and we may find a gem. Kirkez is being talked about by Liverpool. I know that, Paul. So again, that's just narrowing the gap down, narrowing the options down, and not much being there. Nobody is going to buy Alvaro apart from United. United are not releasing Harry Mas. Something has to be going on. All of this, well, United have just told Tyrell Malacia that he can go. And if we aren't getting a fee for him, which is what's being said, it's a loan with obligation, so that money's coming in the summer, I tend to think Harry Mas, because there's no money, wages off the books, definitely balancing PSR again here, I think, United, in doing this. Obviously, Harry Mas is not going to cost United anything. You've got rid of a player. You may have even got a little loan fee, a little bit more money, more wages off the books with Tyrell. Honestly, when you look at it, in fact, let's just have a quick look at what United would save. I'm going to just quickly bring up Malacia's contract and just see what he is actually on. Okay, Tyrell Malacia right now as we speak. Current Manchester United contract leaves him on when my page bleeding loads. This contract page always takes an absolute age. Absolute age. Right, okay. So when you look at it, Tyrell Malacia is on 3.9 million a year. He's on about 3.5 million a year. He's basically on peanuts, isn't he? When you look at that, what are United saving there? I mean, a week when you look at that for Malacia, you're looking at 75 grand basic with no bonus package in play for Tyrell Malacia. So contract ends in 2026, so we'll have 2 years left at the end of this season. You're not going to negotiate a new deal. United have told him he can go. If United can save themselves, what's he saving? Half, really, there. 3.9 million a year. So split that in half. What are you looking at there? Around about, what? Is that about 1.8 or something like that? 1.8 million. I mean, yeah, 1.9. That's 1.9 and a half, actually. Yeah, so yeah, you're just under 2 million, near enough. That's what you would say you're saving in wages. Not a lot, no, but every penny counts when it comes to PSR, doesn't it? But again, it leaves room, and you may have found a gem in Harry Mass. All of a sudden, United have options in the summer, and United can look at the window a completely different way. Let's get into more of your chat on this one and see where you're at. Let's just see what we've got in here. Super chat from Glenn says, during the Youth Cup game, they were saying that the young lad Kukonki that has been on the bench recently plays both left and left wing back. Maybe try him. I've not seen him play as much. Mandato is the wide player that I probably thought would have been earmarked for a wide position at Manchester United. I thought he would be the one that actually broke through. But again, like, options are there. Look, every single player that we thought was probably going to break through from the academy, since Ruben Amorim has arrived, has not, and it's gone the opposite way. So, like, Morehouse has obviously impressed as well in training. Not in under 21 games. Well, I'm not even going to try and figure it out, actually. It's pointless me trying to figure it out because nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But still, like, whichever way you look at it, whichever way you finance it, whichever way you look at squad depth, cover in positions, quality of positions, what foot the player is, look, any way you want to look at any player in this scenario right now for Manchester United is the best option for the club is Harry Mass. It's not the best option for Ruben Amorim. He would like someone better in, obviously ready-made. But is there a promise here for Minios? Are they going to give him more in the summer if he gets through this transfer window just to balance the sheets for that PSR deadline, which is the 30th of June? If he does this, then Ineos are going to have to go some to try and back this manager when it comes to it in the summer. They really are. In terms of other news and everything else that is going on, there is apparently another bid going in for Alejandro Garnacho with a transfer warning from Napoli, and that is that this is, I'm guessing, probably a take it or leave it offer coming in last. So we'll see what that is. I think they'll have an idea. We have talked about Garnacho actually agreeing to terms with Napoli. I'm not going to say that is a definite. I don't know. That has come from Corriere dello Sport, the Italian side of things. But they were the ones that broke it just before Romano did, that this was a serious transfer in the first place, when we were all thinking, is it true or not? So maybe there is something there, maybe there isn't. But they have sort of been on the ball with this one. 4-1 to Bournemouth at Newcastle. Holy shit, what a performance that is. Wow, we'll be talking about that on Football Talks very soon indeed. We're flying across there just after the 2:30 mark, so you will be diverted across to that. We're going to continue all the conversations on, but again, freaking wow. Wow, Iraola, what a manager. I watched a bit of that game with Bournemouth. Outstanding performance. Hi Adam, super chat in here from Andy says, Malacia isn't good enough long term, but I would wait until the summer. We cannot loan Rashford, sell Garnacho and Malacia, leaving us with Shaw. Well, to be honest, we're not using Malacia at all at the moment, mate. We're trying to find we're playing Anthony ahead of Malacia. So really, when you look at this, the scenario is that Malacia isn't going to play even if he's here. So he's in that Rashford camp, isn't he? And that's what we've got to look at, I think, and take into consideration. Let's just see. So Jim turns up. So Jim turns up, bottom of the table. Southampton at home. Where were you at Liverpool? Were you at Arsenal in the Cup, showing face at Gimme Game? I've no idea, Odegaard, what you're on about there in that super chat. But cheers for the super chat, mate. Right, in terms of like turning up against Southampton for the Southampton game against Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Look, he doesn't have to be. Do we want him there all the time? I'm not really bothered if Sir Jim Ratcliffe shows his face or not. I'm honestly not. I'm not bothered. But hey, we're going to see if Brentford's own form can hold up on Football Talks in a moment. Just quickly before we finish up on the Marcus Rashford situation, again, Barcelona would take Marcus Rashford. We talked before about him wanting to wait for Barca, but Barca are making Marcus Rashford, and this is going to tell us everything we need to know. And this is why I think Dortmund are still coming in for it. But get this, Barcelona will only take Marcus Rashford if he takes a pay cut. Oh, where is your head at now, Marcus? You want to go Barcelona and get your glitz and glamour on less money and show us that you want to play football at the highest level? Or you really are just chasing your ego and thinking that you are worth more? It's going to be interesting to see. Really interesting to see. But hey, that is it for the show. Just a quick update show there for everybody. Thank you. Loads of people in the room on this one. It is a great debate, actually, and a great conversation. What happens if Tyrell Malacia leaves Manchester United? 85% of you have said in the chat, in the poll, in fact, that you're not bothered if he leaves in January, compared to 15% no. And that's 1,000 votes on the poll there. 1,000 Man United fans right now have said you're not bothered. 85% of you, that is, are not bothered if Malacia leaves in January. That is damning. That is telling us a lot. I'm going to finish that up there. I'm going to finish this show right now. Just say again, absolute mega, everybody. Thank you. Great chats, great comments in, as always. We're going to be flying across to Football Talks now. We're going to continue this chat on. We're going to talk a bit about Bournemouth. Wow, what a result that is at Newcastle. We're going to be doing our own Soccer Saturday on Football Talks, everybody. So I will see you over there in just a few moments. I'm just going to get set up, so a few minutes, and then we'll just carry on our conversation. Thanks for tuning into this show, everyone. Get your comments in on subjects below on the video once the live's finished as well. Pop across to Football Talks. I'll see you all there.